A chill wind is blowing through the homes of Britain's pensioners. The biting cold is not just outside their windows, but has seeped into their very lives, bringing with it a sense of dread and uncertainty. Prime Minister Keir Starmer's recent announcement to cut winter fuel payments has sent shockwaves through the nation. The news has reverberated through communities, leaving many to question how they will cope with the harsh winter months ahead. This decision, met with fierce opposition and despair, has sparked a heated debate about social responsibility, economic necessity, and the very soul of the Labour Party. The streets have filled with protesters, their voices echoing the sentiments of countless pensioners who feel their plight has been ignored. For many pensioners, the annual winter fuel payment is a lifeline, a crucial buffer against the biting cold and soaring energy bills. It is not just a financial aid, but a symbol of care and support from the government. It represents the difference between heating and eating, between comfort and hardship. The cuts force difficult choices upon the elderly, who must now decide whether to stay warm or have enough to eat. Starmer's cuts, framed as a necessary evil to combat the UK's dire economic straits, have left many feeling betrayed and abandoned. The justification of economic necessity rings hollow to those who are already struggling to make ends meet. The announcement has ignited a firestorm of criticism, not just from opposition parties, but also from within Labour's own ranks. Members of Parliament are divided, with some arguing that the cuts are a step too far. Critics argue that the cuts disproportionately target the most vulnerable members of society, those least able to weather the storm of rising living costs. The elderly, who have contributed to society all their lives, now find themselves at the mercy of political decisions. The move is seen as a betrayal of Labour's core values, a shift towards austerity that undermines the party's commitment to social justice. The debate continues, but for many pensioners, the reality is already here, and it is a cold, harsh one. As the winter months approach, community centres and local charities are stepping in to fill the gap, offering warm meals and a place to stay warm. But these efforts, while commendable, are not enough to replace the security that the winter fuel payments once provided. The resilience of the pensioner community is being tested, and while they are finding ways to support each other, the sense of abandonment by the government lingers. The question remains, will the government reconsider its stance, or will the elderly continue to bear the brunt of these cuts? Winter fuel payments have been a cornerstone of the UK's social safety net for decades, providing essential support to the elderly during the harsh winter months. These payments are a testament to the understanding that older citizens require additional support during the colder months, ensuring they can live in comfort and dignity. The significance of these payments cannot be overstated. They're a lifeline for many pensioners who might otherwise struggle to keep their homes warm. Introduced in 1997, the payments were designed to alleviate fuel poverty among pensioners, a pressing issue that had been growing over the years. The initiative was part of a broader effort to support the elderly population, ensuring that they could afford to heat their homes adequately and maintain their health and well-being. The introduction of winter fuel payments marked a significant step forward in social policy, reflecting a commitment to the welfare of older citizens. These payments, which range from £100 to £300 depending on age and circumstances, provide a vital financial cushion for pensioners. Many of these individuals live on fixed incomes and struggle to cope with rising energy costs, especially during the winter months when heating bills can skyrocket. The financial support offered by winter fuel payments can make a significant difference in the lives of the elderly. It ensures that they don't have to choose between heating their homes and other essential expenses. For many, the payments represent the difference between a warm, comfortable home and a cold, damp one. The impact of these payments extends beyond mere comfort. They play a crucial role in safeguarding the health of the elderly. Cold homes can lead to serious health issues, including hypothermia and other cold-related illnesses. By providing the means to keep their homes warm, winter fuel payments help protect the elderly from these risks. The payments also symbolize a broader social commitment. They are more than just financial aid. They represent a recognition that society has a responsibility to care for its elderly citizens. This principle of social solidarity is at the heart of the winter fuel payment program. However, recent cuts to these payments have raised significant concerns. The reductions represent a departure from the principle of supporting the most vulnerable members of society. Many worry that the cuts will leave the elderly at greater risk during the winter months. The winter fuel payment has become more than just a financial aid. It is a symbol of social solidarity, a recognition that society has a responsibility to care for its elderly citizens. The cuts, therefore, represent a significant departure from this principle, raising concerns about the government's commitment to protecting the most vulnerable. The debate over winter fuel payments is not just about money, it is about values and priorities. It's about whether we as a society are willing to ensure that our elderly can live in warmth and dignity. The future of winter fuel payments will be a test of our collective commitment to social solidarity and the well-being of our elderly population. The cuts, therefore, represent a significant departure from this principle, raising concerns about the government's commitment to protecting the most vulnerable. As the debate continues, it is crucial to remember the importance of these payments and the difference they make in the lives of the elderly. The future of winter fuel payments will be a test of our collective commitment to social solidarity and the well-being of our elderly population. It is a reminder that the way we treat our most vulnerable citizens reflects our values as a society. The potential impact of Starmer's winter payment cuts on pensioners is a bleak prospect to contemplate. For many, the loss of this vital financial support could have dire consequences, pushing them further into poverty and jeopardizing their health and well-being. The cuts come at a time when pensioners are already facing a perfect storm of rising living costs, including soaring energy bills, food price inflation, and increasing council tax. The loss of the winter fuel payment could tip many over the edge, forcing them to choose between heating their homes and putting food on the table. The health implications of cold homes are well documented, particularly for older people who are more susceptible to hypothermia, respiratory problems, and other cold-related illnesses. The cuts could lead to an increase in hospital admissions, placing further strain on the already overstretched NHS. Section 4. Voices of dissent. Labour Party members and opposition figures condemn the cuts. Starmer's decision to cut winter fuel payments has been met with a chorus of condemnation from both within the Labour Party and across the political spectrum. Critics argue that the cuts represent a betrayal of Labour's core values and a heartless attack on the most vulnerable members of society. These cuts are a disgrace, a betrayal of everything Labour stands for, thundered former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, a staunch advocate for social justice and workers' rights. To target pensioners, many of whom are already struggling to make ends meet, is utterly unconscionable. The sentiment was echoed by many within the Labour Party, with several MPs breaking ranks to condemn the cuts. "This is not the Labour Party I joined," declared one backbench MP, reflecting the growing unease and disillusionment within the party's ranks. Section 5. Starmer's rationale, a necessary evil to combat dire public finances. In the face of mounting criticism, Starmer has defended the cuts as a necessary evil, a painful but unavoidable measure to address the UK's dire public finances. He emphasises that these decisions are not taken lightly but are essential to prevent further economic decline. The Prime Minister argues that the country faces an unprecedented economic crisis, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine. These global events have strained the national budget, leading to a significant shortfall that must be addressed urgently. "We are facing the most challenging economic circumstances in a generation," Starmer declared in a televised address to the nation. He highlighted the importance of taking immediate action to stabilize the economy and prevent long-term damage. Difficult decisions must be made to ensure the long-term health of our economy and to protect future generations from crippling debt. Starmer pointed out that without these measures, the country could face even more severe financial difficulties in the future. The Prime Minister argues that the government has been forced to make tough choices, prioritising spending on essential services like the NHS and education. He reassured the public that these sectors would continue to receive the necessary funding to operate effectively. He insists that the cuts to winter fuel payments are part of a broader package of measures designed to restore fiscal responsibility and balance the books. Starmer explained that these cuts, while difficult, are crucial to ensuring that the government can continue to support vital public services and invest in the country's future. Despite the rationale provided, the public remains divided. Many citizens have expressed concerns over the impact of these cuts on vulnerable populations, leading to protests and calls for alternative solutions. The debate continues as the government navigates these turbulent economic